What is going on? Hopefully you guys can see me, hear me. What's going on, man? Let's get in here. We gotta talk. We gotta talk, guys. The NFL trade deadline has passed. It has officially passed. Okay, just letting you guys know that. So I'm gonna give my quick reaction to the NFL trade deadline, my thoughts on the moves that were made, and then quickly give my thoughts on the Bears and the offensive lineman on the Bears that tested positive for COVID today. And that is going to have an impact for us come Sunday against the Lions because you thought our O-line was bad. It's about to get a lot worse. And also, I'll be taking questions from you guys, super chat as always, if you want your question answered right away. So go ahead and do so. All right. So I guess let's go ahead and start with the NFL trade deadline. So I told you guys this in my video before talking about, will the Bears make a move at the trade deadline? I said doubtful. I just don't think that the Bears saw anything out there that they liked Ryan Pace. We know, at times he can be aggressive, but other times he's very conservative with his moves. And I predicted that the Bears wouldn't make any moves in or by the trade deadline, and they didn't. They didn't make any moves in the trade deadline passed. But more importantly, the Packers didn't do anything either, right? The Packers could have traded for Will Fuller and upgraded their team, but they didn't end up acquiring him. I think Ian Rappaport reported that they couldn't agree on the correct or the right compensation, the Packers and the Texans. So I'm happy as a Bears fan because obviously that means the Packers did not get better and they needed an upgrade at receiver. So I'm happy about that. But as far as the Bears not adding anybody, listen, here's where I'm at. Would I have liked for the Bears to address the offensive line? Absolutely. 1,000%. So I am angry and mad that they did not address the offensive line via trade or even free agency. But other than that, I'm okay. Like, I don't mind that we didn't trade for a receiver or we didn't trade for a cornerback. Like, I know there were Stephon Gilmore trade rumors out there. I don't want Stephon Gilmore when we already have good players at his position. Like, we need to upgrade the holes. We need to get better at our weaknesses, not increase our strengths even more. And just giving up that much draft capital, I guess, was not worth it. So to me, again, I am angry in a way that we did not try to add any offensive linemen because that's a huge weakness for us. But I'm also us not trying to trade for other positions because they're just not as much of a need. A lot of you guys have kept telling me, Faiz, we might need to add a receiver. I don't think so. I think we're fine at receiver. We got A-Rob, our stud, and we've got Darnell Mooney, who's come on. And Anthony Miller, again, he's a little inconsistent, but that's 3 decent receivers there, okay? So I'm okay with that. And then, like, defensively, no shot. We don't need to upgrade anybody or trade anybody defensively outside of our run game. I should say D-tackle. Let me rephrase that. Nose tackle, D-tackle, if we upgraded that, I would have been happy with it, okay? So that's pretty much it. Those are 2 positions of weakness, right? Offensive line and defensive line in a way. So I wish Ryan Pace addressed that, but he didn't. I told you guys he probably wasn't going to, and that's what ended up happening. Again, I'm happy the Packers didn't get Will Fuller. Other than that, I mean, there were very, very minimal trades. I mean, we're talking about Isaiah Ford, wide receiver to the New England Patriots. I mean, that's meaningless to Patriots. I told you guys weren't going to make the playoffs this year, and they look awful. Then we had a DeAndre Washington trade to the Dolphins, which, again, I was like, how many running backs do the Dolphins want, right? They have like Matt Breida, Jordan Howard, Myles Gaskins, and now they add DeAndre Washington. But it turns out that Myles Gaskin is hurt. He's going to be out for about 3 weeks. So that is why they added him. So other than that, I mean, it's been very, very minimal in terms of the impact of the players that were sent out. Nothing crazy. Yes, I did hear about the Bears offensive lineman getting COVID. I was going to address that. So thank you for pointing that out in the comment section below. So again, if you guys want your question answered, go ahead and submit a super chat. I'll try to get to as many questions as I can. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on the trade deadline. All right. It didn't surprise me. I am annoyed that we did not trade for a offensive lineman or a D tackle, but that's it. Other than that, I'm good. As far as our offensive line, folks, let me go ahead and make sure that I get this right. I think it was Jason Spriggs and Jermaine Afidi both are placed on the COVID list. Am I getting that right? Let me double check here. Sorry, I'm checking my Twitter. By the way, guys, follow me on Twitter. I always tell you guys that, but that is where I get my news. Yes, Bears offensive tackle Jason Spriggs tested positive for COVID. In addition, guard Jermaine Afidi was determined to be high-risk close contact. So, okay, Afidi is not confirmed that he had a positive case, but he was in close contact with Spriggs, and so he will also be on the list. But he does have a chance to be back and play on Sunday. So, obviously, this is very bad news for the Bears, who are already obviously suffering with the offensive line. And, we didn't have our center last week and Cody Whitehair, and now this. And look, again, the offensive line, we know it's been a weakness. As far as Sunday, I mean, I'm concerned, obviously. But the one, I guess, silver lining is that the Titans don't have much of a pass rush. Like, Jadeveon Clowney has not been what the Titans thought they were getting. He has not been able to get many sacks. I don't think he even has any sacks, to double check on that. But, yeah, like, the Titans don't rush the passer well. They don't. So, hopefully that means whatever we have as in terms of our offensive line, and I can't tell you who's going to be starting Sunday. I think they elevated a couple of practice squad players. I think Latavius Simmons, we drafted in the NFL draft this year, he got elevated from the practice squad, and then somebody else as well. I can't tell you who's going to start on the offensive line, folks. It's going to be an absolute mess, but I'm really hoping that Matt Nagy game plans around that, because, again, if Jadeveon Clowney and this Titans pass rush all of a sudden comes alive, you know why? It's because our offensive line is horrid. All right, so it's going to be bad. It's going to be bad Sunday. But, yeah, I put out my prediction video. If you guys haven't checked that out, Titans versus Bears, I did put it out a couple hours ago, so go ahead and check it out. But, yeah, guys, tough right now to kind of see what's going on. Let me go ahead and answer some questions here while I'm at it. Looks like the Bears took pat and did nothing. Yes, they did not do anything, and I predicted that, so I'm not surprised. The good news is the Titans do not have a pass rush. Yeah, exactly what I said. They didn't have a pass rush against the Bengals. They don't have a pass rush against us. Now, I'm hoping that remains the case, but because of the offensive line or lack thereof, what if the Titans end up getting off and having a good game against us? That would be a nightmare. What's good, Faiz? What's going on, man? Packers are going to get healthy, and they like Lazard. Look, the Packers absolutely are decimated with injuries for sure. Right now, I think they have their own COVID issues. Jamal Williams was a high-contact player to A.J. Dillon who tested positive, and they're both going on the list. And then when we're talking about the game on Thursday, because the Packers are on a short week, they play the 49ers on Thursday. I mean, if Aaron Jones is not back, they won't have any running backs. You got a lot of probably practice squad guys, right? A lot of fourth, fifth stringers, Tyler Irvin, if you will, somebody like that. It's going to be bad for the Green Bay Packers. But, yeah, once they get healthy, I mean, their receivers are still nothing great. Alan Lazard is okay, folks, but again, is he anything special? Does he scare a defense? No, he does not. He's had flashes here and there, but no, he does not. But in terms of the Packers, their bigger issue, more than receiver, is their defense, especially with the interior and their run defense. I mean, their run defense is awful, and I'm telling you right now, if the 49ers, who are even more depleted with their injuries, if they're able to do something against the Packers offensively, especially running the football, man, I'm just saying the Packers are going to be exposed in a way where teams will just run on them. Just literally just run on them. Look what the Vikings did with Dalvin Cook. Now, everybody does not have a Dalvin Cook, but if guys like, I think the 49ers are starting JaMychal Hasty and Jerick McKinnon, if they're able to get off against the Packers, I'm just saying. No O-line help. Yep, no O-line help. With the offense the Bears have, how can you say that they're a playoff contender? Simple, because of their defense. Look, here's the thing you have to understand. If you're elite on one side of the football, you are a playoff team, a potential playoff team, I should say. The Seattle Seahawks are literally the exact opposite of the Bears. They have an elite offense and an absolutely porous defense. But the Seattle Seahawks are not just playoff contenders, they're Super Bowl contenders because they have an incredible offense and they have the guy who I predicted to be the MVP of the league, Russell Wilson. The Bears have a top 5 defense. The only defense that I would put definitively above the Bears right now, probably the Steelers, not probably, the Steelers, their defense. And, you know, you can probably put the Colts defense up there. You can probably put the Ravens defense up there. But again, the Bears are a top 5 defense. So if you're elite on one side of the football, you can be a playoff team. So the offense, as bad as it is, still can get to the playoffs because we are elite on one side of the football. The teams that are not playoff teams that won't make the playoffs are teams that are not elite on either side of the football. Okay? So that's how I believe the Bears are. The Bears needed to trade for somebody on the O-line or tight end. Agreed. Nick Foles about to bench himself. Have added troops. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I talked about whether or not the Bears should go back to Mitchell Trubisky. I don't believe they will. I think they're going to stick with Nick Foles. Why did we not make a trade? Okay, so let me try to explain it. The reason I believe Ryan Pace did not make a trade, guy out there that is going to fix all of our issues. Even though I don't like that way of thinking. But I believe that's what he is thinking, is there's not one trade that will make everything better. And the other thing is he's given up so many of our draft picks in previous years that I think he's tired of giving up future assets. Remember I told you that the Bears are in a weird spot right now because I think front office does not know if the Bears are true contenders. Like, they know that they're absolutely a playoff team. But do they think they're Super Bowl contenders? I'm not so sure about that. And so that's why I don't think they're going all in yet. Okay? And the O-line. Can they play both? Like, is that even possible? Probably not. Time for Pace and Nagy to go. I wouldn't go that far yet. Let the season finish out. We're 5-3. I gave my thoughts on the Bears halfway through the NFL season and the state of the Bears. So go ahead and check out that video. Are the Colts contenders? The Colts are playoff contenders. They are not, I believe, Super Bowl contenders unless their offense takes off. Their offense is what's holding them back. Phillip Rivers, that offense, that's what holding them back. Great offensive line, great coaching, great defense. They need better offense. Seahawks at least tried to address their defense. Yeah, I get it. So let's see what happens. Yep, it's tough. So, guys, yeah, if you have any questions, go ahead and submit a super chat. How do you not address the offensive line until the 6th or 7th round? Yeah, I remember in the draft, that was a need at draft time. And the Bears literally waited until the last round to draft offensive linemen because they thought their new offensive line coach, Juan Castillo, could wave his magic wand and just, fix everything. Wasn't the case. Was not the case. They're learning the way. So, Bears went great. You want the Bears to win every single game, but if they lose line and not performing well, then it's hotter for Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. At 5-2, they were sitting pretty because we're 5-2 and nobody can say anything. Then the Bears were, or I should say 5-1. Then the Bears were 5-2. Then they were 5-3. And now if they go to 5-4 and lose to the Titans 3 losses in a row, now that pressure turns up. Now we've got a big problem here where the Bears are in trouble of falling at 500 or below 500, and now they might start to panic. I bet you anything if the Bears were 3-5 right now instead of 5-3, literally just flip their record around. If they were 3-5, I bet you we would make a move for the offensive line. I think it's literally because of our record. It's so funny. We're getting punished because we're 5-3. We're getting punished because of the fact that we've done good and overachieved in a way. Good teams are always aggressive and go out and try to get better, but yet the Bears don't want to do that. It's sad. It's really sad. But yeah, guys, go ahead and check out my other videos and submit a super chat if you have any questions. Very uneventful trade deadline. I've got a couple of videos coming out this week. I'll probably try to go ahead and give grades for every single player halfway through the season. But yeah, here's the one thing I'll say. In the back end of our schedule, we don't play any more tough defenses. We play very mediocre to very easy defenses. All right, we've got a lot of the division games left. We got the Packers twice, got the Vikings twice, got the Lions once. Then you play the Texans, who aren't a good defense. Then you play the Jaguars, who aren't a good defense. And we play the Titans, who aren't a good defense. So that is at least a little bit of a positive. All right, so just letting you know that. But yeah, just keep in mind here this week, here's what to watch for. If the offensive line plays really bad, really poorly, then you can go ahead and obviously squarely put the blame on Ryan Pace for not trying to address it. And we shouldn't be surprised if they play poorly because, again, we're going to have literally 7th-round draft picks, practice squad guys starting on the offensive line. So I don't expect any changes or moves to be made now, obviously, until the end of the season. But, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, guys. Let me know what you guys think. All right, I'll go ahead and just address a couple of questions here before I head on out. My prediction for the Bears this year, I'm sticking with what I always had, 10-6. 10-6 has been my prediction for the Bears, second in the division after the Green Bay Packers, and a wild card playoff berth. Said that at the beginning of the year. I'm sticking with it. Sticking with it. Bell or Antonio Brown for my flex? Jeez. If that was like 2015, then, I mean, man, you'd be like, wow, you have a stacked team. But Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, I don't even know. Does it this week against the Saints, is he going to have a role? I'd probably lean Le'Veon Bell just because we know he's going to play. That's tough. Where's Mack and Quinn during the game? Yeah, I mean, Khalil Mack's been Khalil Mack, but Robert Quinn, again, we have not heard much about Robert Quinn, and there's a reason for that because he has not done much in terms of the stat sheet, not too many sacks, and for the amount of money he's been getting paid, like, he hasn't been bad, but for the amount of money, he's been bad. Like, if we were going to get this type of production for $70 million, I probably wouldn't have done that and stuck with Leonard Floyd. Honestly, I probably would have done that. So, yeah, he needs to, like, do better for us to feel good about what we paid him, honestly, folks. But in case you guys have not heard here, I did predict the Bears to lose against the Titans this Sunday. You guys can go check out that video and hear my reasoning why. And this was before the COVID news about the offensive lineman came out. And obviously that doesn't help at all. So it's going to be tough, folks. It's going to be tough on Sunday against the Titans. I told you the best thing is that they don't have much of a pass rush, so hopefully the O-linemen can play better. They played better last week, but I think there's a very good chance the Bears go 5-4, which is fine. That doesn't mean the season's over or anything like that, but definitely does not help. But I told you the back end of our schedule is easier. We don't play many tough defenses. All right, so look out for more videos from me this week, guys. A couple other plugs. Make sure if you guys are not following me on my social media that you do so. I'm trying to hit 1,000 followers on Instagram, so follow me on there, guys. Would really appreciate it. The links are always in the description. Make sure you're in the Flick Chat. You guys can check out the Flick Chat, check out the FSD community. I've got a couple other channel announcements that I got coming up, man. I'm going to be doing more of these, but make sure you guys do that. Support me. Hit the Twitter. Appreciate you guys, and I'll go ahead and talk to you guys soon.